Okay, friends, so I'm going to start my first video about how to solve a Rubik's Cube. So a few things. I'm going to kind of give you or kind of explain what I want you to do first, and then I might give you some examples, but I'll then tell you when to maybe pause the video or to stop watching if you want to try to solve it yourself first before you might do the quote unquote algorithm, but I don't really remember it as algorithms though. So yeah, so I might say, hey, if you want to try to do it yourself before you watch the video, you can do that, and I'll let you know when. So before we get started though, I want to show you that the middle sides here, the middle, these are always going to be fixed pieces. So like this side is always going to be green. Now I know that you can move the green, right? But green is always going to be right next to the white side, okay? And then green will always be next to the red side. So no matter how many times I turn this, green and red, and there's white, right? So even if I turn it this way, right, green is next to white and it's next to red. White is always going to be the opposite of yellow, right? So no matter how I move it, white and yellow are on opposite sides. Okay, same thing for red, and which is orange or pinkish salmon. And then we have green is always opposite of blue. Okay, so that's something that is always going to happen. And if you, especially for a 3x3, if you don't do that, I mean, your colors aren't going to match up. And if you're doing a 4x4 or anything more than that, as you start to solve these and you want to challenge yourself more, you're going to have to actually memorize what color and where they go, because the edge or the corner pieces here, they have certain colors that if you don't follow where they specifically go, they're not going to match up and your cube can't be solved. So now that we have that out of the way, our first thing to do is I always start with the white side right here. So typically Rubik's cubes will have like a little symbol on that side, and that's where a lot of like websites, they usually tell you to start on this side. You don't have to. It's just usually kind of easier because that's where a lot of websites, if you're looking up like algorithms or things to do, they usually start here. So the first thing to do is make an X going across. Now, what you need to do though is you need to make sure when you have the X going across, I've had students who do it like this. They do that, and then they do this, and finally they come up. And yes, we have white right here. That doesn't matter. So you could have white all on the whole side right here, but we at least need to have these be all white to make an X here. You might have the color white right there or here, like I have mine, but right now I have a white X. The problem with this one, though, is if I turn it, and you can see it from kind of this angle, you can notice that now this side has to be this pink salmon color, but it's blue here. So I can't keep this. And then I have students who will say, oh, but I'll rotate that one. Now this works. True, that works for this side. But if you look over here, this doesn't work. And then, oh, this happened to work. Great. This one doesn't work. So now what you have to do while you're making your white X here, you're going to need to think about where you put these pieces specifically. Like I can fix this right now. If you have this, it's actually pretty easy to fix. So if my challenge to you is to make this white X on top here, and then to also try to have the sides match the color of the middle square. Now, you can do it like this, where you have all the white X and then fix it. That's a possibility. Or what you could try to do, is actually solve it the correct way the first time. So trying to match up, like, hey, this is blue right here, and I need to move it to the blue side. Like, let's just say here. So their blue's right there. So trying to move it to the blue side. So here's blue, and then moving it to the white side. So now we have blue matching and white. So if you want to if you want me to show you how to do it or some tricks, keep watching. If you want to try to do it yourself, to investigate how the Rubik's Cube works, which is a great strategy to see when you move something, how some of the other pieces move, I would pause your video now, or come back to it, or stop it, because I'm going to give you probably some spoilers. Okay, so some strategies that I use, you can make your white X here like I showed you before, and then kind of move things around. So some strategies I like to use is, I see that this piece is an edge piece, and it's white and it's red. So some strategies, what I do, I need to get that piece right over here. I need to get this piece right over here. So a few things that I do is I actually turn a lot of them to the opposite side. I usually am looking at the white side. I actually am going to take this and flip it all the way to the yellow side, because that's the opposite. Okay, and so now you can see that I have here for this one, I have salmon and white. Let's go to a different color here. Oh, we're doing, I think, the red and white. So what I'm going to do here, the red and white is, I need to move that to the yellow here. So then I'm going to move it to the red side. Now, as long as these two match up, now all I have to do is rotate it so it turns to the white side. So I have the white matching and I have the red matching. Okay. Sometimes there are going to be issues like this. So I'm looking at, this one is pink and white, and I want to get that to the pink and white side, right? So if I turn it here, oh, I got it to the pink side, but when I rotate it, the colors are inverted, they're reversed, right? And some people are like, well, how do I fix that? So one way to do that is to, and it doesn't matter if this side is solved, like I'll show you here. So what I do really quick here is I turn this side that I need to change, I just turn it one rotation. Now, what I do is I'm going to turn this one, I'm going to mess it up for a moment, okay? Mess it up for a moment. And now, what I'm going to do, the bottom, see how the bottom, the white is matching the yellow? I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to turn this one more time. Okay, so this is where we're at. So what I would do is make sure this side now you had that had the blue and the white matching, I'm going to bring that back. So that's still the same. The problem is now, is we have this salmon and white. I'm going to now just rotate that. So now that the salmon colors match each other. Now I can rotate it so now the white matches the white and the salmon is on the salmon. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to try to practice that, and if you have any questions, I'll help you.